kimse. Evet, yarısın.
各位记者朋友，大家下。
Friends from the media, good afternoon. Welcome to today's press conference. Now questions, please.
From Reuters. The US Senate voted on Tuesday in favor of legislation that would ban TikTok in the US if ByteDance fails to divest the app over the next 9 months to a year. Does the Foreign Ministry have anything to offer on this matter? Thank you.
路透社提问：美国参议院于这周二通过了一项支持 TikTok 禁止 TikTok 或者是剥离 TikTok 的法案。该法案要求 TikTok 在9个月到1个年之内从字节跳动中剥离，否则将会面临禁令。中方对此有何回应？
我和我的同事。
My colleagues and the spokesperson of the Ministry of Commerce have previously made clear China's principled position on the U.S. Congress passage of the bill on TikTok, which you may refer to. Next question, please.
Dragon TV, we noted that after China's National Bureau of Statistics released data about China's economy in the first quarter this year, several international financial institutions, including Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, revised up China's growth forecast. What's your comment? China's economy got off to a good start in the first quarter of this year. The troika growth drivers of consumption, investment, and export showed a sound momentum, and the full macroeconomic indicators of growth, employment, inflation, and international balance of payment are generally stable. China's GDP grew by 5.3% year-on-year. Domestic demand contributed 85.5% of growth, constituting the major impetus. The UN Conference on Trade and Development in its report estimated that China will realize the target of around 5% of growth this year. Kearney, the U.S. management consulting firm, published the 2024 FDA Confidence Index, showing that China jumped from the 7th to the 3rd. Bloomberg also reported that China is projected to be the world's champion in new economic activity for the next 5 years. Looking forward, the long-term positive trend of China's economic rebound will not change. We believe that as our high-quality development and high-standard opening up continues to progress, the Chinese economy will speed up the transition and upgrade while sustaining its steady growth and make greater contribution to the global economy. Next one, please.
Good afternoon. Mark Stewart from CNN. Concerning the legislation that was passed by the United States lawmakers dealing with both Taiwan and TikTok, a two-part question. First, what will China's message be on this as Secretary of State Antony Blinken travels the country? And secondly, what is the view of the Chinese government? Should ByteDance challenge this legislation, or would it be better to leave the American market altogether?
CNN 提问：我的问题也是关于美国国会的立法情况。这一立法包含涉台以及 TikTok 的相关内容。我有2个问题。第一个问题是，现在布林肯国务卿正在访问中国，中方对他的信息是什么？第二，中国政府如何看待这一问题？字节跳动是应该申诉这一立法，还是应该离开美国市场？
首先呢，关于你提到的是 TikTok。
First, about TikTok. We have clarified our principled position, and I have no more information to add. Secondly, about Secretary Blinken's visit to China, we have made it clear our positions, and the DG from the Department of North America and Oceania Affairs has offered information. Next question, please.
Bloomberg News. I have a question about the EU. The EU this morning at China time announced that they were starting an investigation into Chinese market access for medical devices and government procurement. Does China have any comment on this news statement from the EU? Thank you.
彭博社提问：欧盟今天早上宣布将启动对于中国医疗器械采购的市场准入调查，中方对此有何回应？
近段时间以来，
Recently, the EU has used its economy and trade toolbox and trade remedy measures. It is sending a signal of protectionism, targeting Chinese enterprises, and it harms the image of the EU, while it boasts its reputation of the most open market. But we are seeing that the EU is moving towards protectionism step by step. We urge the EU to abide by its commitment to open market and the principle of fair competition, abide by the rule of the WTO, stop oppressing and confining Chinese enterprises, seeing all kinds of excuses. Next question, please.
Hi, with the Financial Times. Will China allow ByteDance to sell TikTok in the U.S.?
金融时报提问。
答了相关的问题。
I have answered the question. Next, please.
不是。
Sorry, a follow-up on the EU question. You urged the EU to abide by the WTO regulations. When China joined the WTO in 2001, it promised to join the government procurement agreement as soon as possible. China actually applied to join that in 2007, but has never actually joined. Does China ever intend to join the government procurement agreement? And if you don't, why should the EU give you the same access to their market that other countries have joined that agreement get when you won't give them that access to your market? Thank you.
彭博社提问：我的问题关于我刚才提问的欧盟调查问题。您刚才在回答中提到，要求欧盟方面要遵守 WTO 的规则。在2001年中国加入世贸组织的时候，提出将尽快加入世贸组织下面的政府采购协议。2007年，曾经试图加入，但是没有能够成功。那么，在其他国家需要为欧盟提供相关市场准入的情况下，中方并没有能够提供相关的公平的市场准入。在这一情况下，中国为什么也还希望欧盟遵守 WTO 规则？
你提到中方申请加入世贸组织的政府采购协定的问题。
You mentioned China's application. About the specifics, I would like to refer you to authoritative organizations. And after China entered the WTO, we have always abided by the WTO rules. We have set an example. And the WTO has always recognized that. And I would like to take this opportunity to introduce relevant situation. As the largest developing country after entering the WTO, we have always supported the multilateral system and practiced multilateral mechanism, implementing our commitment to the WTO. We have expanded a high standard institutional openness and took part and participated in the reform of the WTO. We have assisted the other countries, especially the least developed countries, to participate in the WTO. We have led the facilitation agreement in terms of tax negotiation, and we have participated in other negotiations. Our positive role has been recognized by all other parties. Our contribution to world trade has been seen by all.
下一个问题。
Next question, please.
谢谢发言人。总台国广记者提问：据报道，日前根据阿塞拜。
It is reported that according to the outcome of the 8th meeting of the State Commissions on the delimitation of the state border between Armenia and Azerbaijan, held days ago, Armenia and Azerbaijan have agreed to begin the delimitation process and decided to start from the northern sections of the border line. China noted reports. Both the two countries are China's friends and partners. China welcomes the progress made by the two countries and we hope the two countries will meet each other halfway and work together to resolve differences and disputes through dialogue and consultation and to improve peace, stability, and prosperity in the region. Next question, please.
Question from the New York Times. Does China have any plans to take reciprocal or tit-for-tat measures against American companies for the potential ban of TikTok?
纽约时报提问：鉴于美方可能会对 TikTok 发起禁令，中方是否有计划对美国的公司采取反制的措施？
刚才已经回答过相关的。
I have answered the relevant questions. Next question, please.
Sorry, just to follow up on the WTO question. You said that China is a leading member of the WTO and has been appreciated for the efforts that it makes to support free trade. But China is not a member of the government procurement agreement, which guarantees freedom of access for members of that agreement for everyone on the WTO. So my question is, why does China think it should have free access to the European market for procurement when China doesn't provide that access to its own market to European companies and also to companies from all around, also to companies from all the other WTO members? Thank you.
彭博社，我还是要追问一下刚才您回答到的，中方是 WTO 的成员，并且积极的支持自由贸易，但是中国并不是 WTO 政府采购协议的成员。那么这一协议是要求对于 WTO 的成员提供公平的市场准入和自由，在中国的市场并不对欧盟以及其他 WTO 协议下的成员提供公平准入的情况下，中方为什么还要求欧盟向中国提供公平的政府采购准入？
我认为你的这个理解呢，
In my perspective, your understanding might not be accurate. According to my understanding, we applied positively for the government procurement agreement, and for specifics, you may refer to the competent authorities. We have been endeavored to build a sound business environment. We have always been committed to build a market for all. And according to relevant statistics and index, China jumped from the 7th position of last year to the 3rd according to the 2024 Foreign Direct Investment Confidence Index. And that's a signal. Next question, please.
New York Times, will the timing of this Senate bill's passage affect the discussions with Secretary Blinken in the coming days? And does China have a comment on the $8 billion in funding to Taiwan and the Indo-Pacific that were part of the bill?
纽约时报提问：美国在这一时间通过了相关法案，是否会影响接下来的几天中布林肯同中方的交谈？另外，这一法案还包含对于台湾的80亿美元军事援助，中方对此有何回应？
关于布林肯
About the information of the Secretary Blinken's visit, I would like to refer you to relevant information we have issued. And I want to reiterate here that a stronger military collusion between the United States and Taiwan will not bring about security for Taiwan. It will not save the destiny of the doomed failure of the Taiwan Independence Force. It will only escalate the tension across the Taiwan Straits, and they will only lift the stones only to drop it on its own feet. The United States should abide by the One China principle and the 3 joint communiques and fully implement the commitment by the U.S. President that it does not support Taiwan independence. Stop arming Taiwan. Stop creating new factors that will elevate the tension across the strait. Stop harming the stability and peace across the strait. China will follow the relevant moves and take resolute measures to safeguard our sovereignty, security, and territorial integrity. Next question, please.
As part of an anti-subsidies investigation, the EU raided offices of a Chinese security company in the Netherlands and Poland and seized IT equipment and mobile phones. Does China have any comment on this?
欧盟对于中国开启了反补贴调查，在这一调查中的一部分就是欧方对于中国的一个安全设备制造商在荷兰和波兰的办公室进行了突击检查，中方对此有何回应？
我刚才针对欧盟启动针对中国医疗。
And my answer previously could answer this also. We hope that the EU could abide by the WTO rules and the principle of fair competition and be committed to their open market and stop oppressing and containing Chinese enterprises. Next question. Do you have any more questions from the floor?
总台央视记者提问：近日，七国集团外长会发表联合声。
The G7 foreign ministers meeting issued a communique recently claiming that China's long market policies and practices are leading to overcapacity. The US side claimed that Secretary of State Antony Blinken will express concerns on overcapacity during his visit to China. What's your comment? Some Western countries have lately been accusing China of overcapacity. This is baseless hype, and we firmly reject it. First, on China's new energy sector, its capacity is advanced and much-needed capacity for green development, not overcapacity. According to the estimates of the International Energy Agency, to achieve carbon neutrality by 2030, global demand for new energy vehicles will reach 45 million, 4.5 times that of 2022, and global demand for new photovoltaic installations will also soar. The challenge facing the world is not overcapacity, but a severe shortage of capacity. China's green technology and products, especially the growth of our new energy industry, meet countries' need to address the energy crisis and respond to climate change, and will make important contribution to the global green and low-carbon transition. Secondly, the rapid growth of China's new energy industry is determined by the laws of economics and market factors, not subsidies. China's new energy products are competitive because we started out early and have kept investing in its R&D, hence a leading edge in technology. Combined with China's vast range of supporting industries, mega-sized market, and rich resources, we have an integrated competitiveness. As Premier Li Qiang has put it, China's leading edge in new energy is a result of strong performance and a full market competition, not government subsidies. Thirdly, accusing China's new energy industry of overcapacity is a sign of protectionism. Bloomberg analysis shows that in the EV sector, the capacity usage rates of the majority of China's leading auto exporters are considered normal. The ratio of exports to production is far lower than other car-producing nations such as Germany, Japan, and the ROK. And Chinese companies aren't dumping EVs on global markets. The so-called overcapacity rhetoric is just an excuse for protectionism. To limit the export of China's new energy products will only lead to a lose-lose situation. The world does not need China to lower its capacity. Instead, it needs more funds and products to meet the challenges. China stands by its basic national policy of opening up. We are ready to work with all parties to achieve win-win results. We hope that relevant countries will stay open, observe the principles of market economy and international trade rules, and provide a fair, transparent, open, and non-discriminatory environment for Chinese businesses.
下一个问题。
Next question, please.
Yesterday, you were asked about the arrest of 4 people in Germany on accusations of spying for China. At the time, you said that these were hyped-up attempts to smear China. and were examples of Cold War thinking. Since you spoke yesterday, the Europeans have opened another investigation into China's business practices, and they've also raided a Chinese company in Europe. Do you also see these two actions in the last 24 hours by the European authorities as more hyping up of the China threat, as attempts to smear China and its business practices? Thank you.
昨天在记者会上，有记者问到您关于德方逮捕了所谓中国间谍的问题，您在回答中提到这是完全对于中方的抹黑指责，也是出于冷战思维，并且也是恶意炒作。那么今天欧方还对中国的商业行为进行了调查，甚至还突击检查了中国在欧洲的企业。那么在过去24小时中，欧方所做的这些行为是否还被认为是针对中国的抹黑，是否还是炒作？
关于欧盟
About the EU investigation, I have stated our position. About the so-called spy case, I have clarified China's position on that yesterday. I want to stress that China has always been committed to the principle of non-interference and mutual respect and equality. We urge the EU to stop smearing China. Next question, please. Do we have other questions? And that's the end of today's press conference. Thank you.